We're 2 weeks into the new year now, so we should be well recovered from Christmas and ready to take on some new exercise challenges. Today we're going to be continuing our classic Pilates for beginners, building on the exercises that we've done before. So we'll be continuing to work into our core and on our overall strength and flexibility. So let's get started. If you stand towards the back of your mat with your feet about hip distance apart, stand up nice and tall, elongating up through the spine. Let's take a breath in to prepare, engage the tummy and float the arms overhead. Then we'll drop the head in line with the arms down towards the mat. We're soft through the back of the knees and we'll just ragdoll here at the bottom and let the weight of the head give us a nice stretch through the spine and the back of the legs. Then we'll take a breath in and restack the spine one bone at a time. We'll do one more. Breath in, engage the tummy, float the arms overhead, then drop the head in line with the arms down towards the mat. There's no need to stretch for the toes. Just use the weight of the head to feel that stretch. We'll take a few deep breaths here, really filling into the sides of the lungs. And then let's slowly restack the spine, one bone at a time. So from here, we'll take it down to the mat. So if you come to the end of your mat, again, we'll do the same motion. So we'll stand with the legs about hip distance apart, float the arms overhead, then drop the head in line with the arms and walk out onto all fours. Then we'll drop one knee and the hip to the mat and spin around onto our bum. From here, we're going to grab the back of the thighs and slowly roll down to the mat for our 100. So we have 3 leg options for the 100. Option 1 is your feet flat on the ground, feet about hip distance apart. The option that I'm going to do is my legs in a tabletop position. So for that, we will be raising one leg to tabletop, then really squeezing into the tummy as we float the other leg and gluing the 2 legs together. As an in-between option, you might want to raise just one leg at a time. So when we get started, you'll raise one leg to tabletop and then about halfway through the exercise, you'll lower that leg and switch to the other leg. And I will tell you when to switch over. So let's get ready. We're lying comfortably on the mat with the legs bent, feet are flat on the mat, the hands are resting on the mat. We take a deep breath in to prepare, engage the tummy and float the head and shoulders off the mat, stretching the hands forward as far as possible. Then really squeeze into the tummy as we lift one leg and then the other leg and glue the 2 legs together. Then we're going to pump the arms as we breathe in for a count of 5 and out for a count of 5. Make sure you're squeezing into that tummy. Try and lift the shoulders and the upper back a little bit more off the mat to really feel that squeeze into the tummy. If you have one leg lifted, now's the time to switch to the other leg. Keep breathing. Try and keep the tension out of the shoulders. Keep the shoulders nice and relaxed. And lift those shoulders a little bit higher off the mat. Really stretch those arms forward. Last one. Then let's lower one foot, then the other foot, and then the head and shoulders down to the mat. We'll just roll the head to one side and the other side just to loosen out any tension. The next exercise is going to be in the same position. This time we will put the hands behind the head. This time you have 2 options for the legs flat on the mat or the 2 legs raised to a tabletop position. I, again, am going to do this exercise in a tabletop position. So let's take a breath in to prepare, engage the tummy, and let's float the head and shoulders off the mat. Then let's bring one leg up to tabletop and the second leg up to tabletop, really squeezing into the tummy. From here, we're going to crunch forward, lifting the shoulders and the upper back a little bit further off the mat to really squeeze into the tummy. And we're going to do 8, 7, 6, lift as high as you can, 5, squeeze into the tummy, 3, 2, and on the last one we're going to hold for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's relax the shoulders a little, bring one foot to the ground, then the other foot to the ground, and then we'll relax the head down to the mat. Again, we'll just turn to the right and then to the left, just to loosen out the neck. We have one more exercise in this position. Again, we're going to have the hands behind the head, and again you have 2 options for the legs, either flat on the mat, about hip distance apart, or raised to tabletop. Again, I'm going to do it in the tabletop position. So we're going to take a breath in to prepare, engage the tummy, and float the head and shoulders off the mat. Then we're going to bring one leg to tabletop, the second leg to tabletop, and glue the 2 legs together. Then we're going to bring one shoulder and elbow across the body to the opposite knee, pushing as far as you can and lifting that shoulder off the mat. Then we go to the other side. Try and think of lifting the shoulder across rather than the elbow to really deepen into that stretch across the body. We'll do 8. Really squeeze the tummy. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax the shoulders a little. Bring one foot to the ground, then the other foot to the ground, then relax the head and shoulders down to the mat. Well done, that's a tough series. We'll just grab the back of the leg and come up to a seated position for our rolling like a ball. So for this exercise, we're going to grab the back of the thighs and hold on tight. Sit yourself up as straight as you can and then drop just a small bit through the back of the hips and lift the feet off the mat. Try and find your balance in this position. From here, we're going to roll back along the spine, up as far as the shoulders, and then roll back to the seated position, trying to keep the feet off the mat, so coming back to a position of balance. So let's take a breath in to prepare, engage the tummy to keep ourselves nice and stable, and then let's just roll back and up to seated. We're going to do 7, 6. Feel that massage along the length of the spine. Try and not kerplunk, try and roll along the full length of the spine. 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest the feet down to the mat. So we're just going to bring the bum back into the middle of the mat, hold the back of the thighs and lower back down to the mat. We're going to extend both legs out along the mat. So our next exercise is going to be single leg circle. We're going to start with both legs stretched along the mat, arms resting by your sides, arms are pushing down into the mat for support. We're going to engage the tummy and float the right leg up to a tabletop position. Then we're going to bring the knee a little bit closer to the chest. For this exercise, we're going to bring the leg around in a circle. So we're going to drop across the body, then forward, out to the side, and back in as wide a circle as you can, but keeping the hips as stable as possible on the mat. So you're going to really need to squeeze into the tummy and push the arms and the opposite leg down into the mat. We're going to do 4 in each direction. So let's get prepared. We're going to take a breath in to prepare, engage the tummy, then we'll drop the leg across the opposite leg and around in a big circle. Keep the hips stable on the mat, so there should be no rocking through the hips. The rest of the body should be nice and stable. We've one more in this direction. Don't forget to push down into the mat with the arms and the leg to keep yourself as stable as possible. 2 to go. Just make the circle as wide as is comfortable for you to maintain your stability. Then we'll rest the foot down to the mat and slide the leg out. We'll slide the other leg in, take a breath in, engage the tummy, and float the leg up to a tabletop position, bringing the knee a little bit closer to the chest. From there, we're going to drop the knee across the body and draw our circles. Keep the tummy engaged, keep the hips nice and stable on the mat. So it's the upper leg that we're trying to mobilize, so don't worry too much what the bottom half of your leg is doing. Just make the circles as big as you can, keeping the hips on the mat. And now we'll go back in the opposite direction. Push the hands and the opposite leg down into the mat to support the hips, to keep them stable. We've 1 to go. Then we'll rest the foot down to the mat. We'll slide the other leg in, grab the back of the thighs and bring ourselves up to a seated position. I'm just going to bring my bum back a little bit into the center of my mat. Our next exercise is going to be our spine stretch forward. So we'll sit with the legs extended out in front, legs about hip distance apart. You want to sit up as straight as you can. So if you find that difficult, either with tension in your hamstrings, in your lower back, in your thighs, then you can elevate your sitting position either by sitting on one of these yoga blocks or just on a towel folded up. So I'm going to use a towel today just to raise my bum just a small amount off the mat and make it a little bit more comfortable for me to extend my legs out in front and sit up nice and straight. So your legs are resting along the mat, your feet are flexed back towards you. We're sitting up nice and straight, arms are out in front, straight out from the shoulders. We're going to take a breath in to prepare, engage the tummy, and then we're going to stretch the arms out and forward like we're lifting a big beach ball out over our toes, and then back to center. Again, breath in, lift the ball up and out, and then back. We're just stretching that ball forward, so we're not going down towards the toes. The hands are staying in line with the shoulders. We'll do 5 more. Keep the tummy engaged. Try and not let too much tension into the legs. Push the heels down into the mat for support. We have 3 to go. Keep the tummy engaged. Stretch forward. Breathe deep into the sides of the lungs. We'll do 1 more. Stretch out. And then back. And then relax. We'll just shake out the legs to shake out any tension. The next exercise is in the same position. So again, the legs are extended out in front. This time we'll bring the feet together. We're going to sit up nice and straight, and we're going to bring the arms out to the side. Then we're going to twist to the side, keeping the arms in that T position and looking back at the backhand. So we don't want to look over the shoulder. We don't want to put too much stress on the neck. Just want to look at that backhand. Then we'll come back to center, sit up nice and straight, engage the tummy and twist to the other side, looking at that backhand. Back to center. And we'll keep it going. Keep a nice flow, center, left, center. Sit up nice and straight each time when you come back to center. Keep engaged through the tummy. Keep tension out of the shoulders. Push the heels down into the mat if it helps you to sit up nice and straight. We've 3 to go. Twist as far as you can. Twist the entire upper body. Deep breaths into the sides of the lungs. Keep the tummy engaged. Last one. And relax. And again, let's shake out those legs. We'll just remove the towel out to the side and spin around onto our knees. We'll come into an all-fours position in the center of the mat. Then step forward with the hands and lower down to the mat for our swan dive. So for today's swan dive, we're just going to work the upper body, but we will engage the legs. So the legs are about hip distance apart, the toes are pointed away, and you should feel like you're just about to lift the toes off the mat. So they're not actually lifted, but they feel like they're about to lift, so you feel an activation through the legs. We're relaxed in the shoulders, the hands are out to the sides, about in line with our cheeks. We're going to lift our elbows off the mat, so we're not using our elbows for support. We're going to take a breath in to prepare, and then we're going to lift the chest and the head off the mat, keeping the head in line with the body. So we're not lifting the head to look forward, we're keeping the head in line as if we're looking forward along the mat. Then we're going to lift the hands off the mat and out to the side into a T shape. We'll bring the hands back in and lower down to the mat. Again, we'll take a breath in, engage the tummy, and lift the shoulders off the mat. Then we're going to lift the arms out to the side, back in and down. Let's keep it going. So breath in, lift the arms out to the side, back in. Keep that engagement in the lower legs. Keep the engagement in the tummy. Keep breathing deep into the sides of the lungs. Keep it going. Lift the arms out to the side, back in and down. We have 3 to go. So we lift the hands out to the side, in and down. Keep activated in the legs and the tummy. And keep breathing nice and deeply. Last one, hands out to the sides, hands in and down. Then we'll push back into a nice shell stretch to stretch out the spine. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed those exercises. I hope you can feel them into the tummy and into the spine. And we'll see you back here soon. Bye.